Welcome to another Wicked Web Wednesdays with me, Chris Davidson. Today's video is all about getting your website to rank better. These are some little known techniques that you can use. First, HTTPS. This is really important, and you've heard me bang on about this before, I'm sure. In the Worldwide Digital Speakers Footprint Survey, about half of the sites that we surveyed did not have HTTPS in place. And if that's the case, if you're one of those sites, then do be aware of the fact that Google is discriminating against you in search results. It's really important that you have HTTPS and not just HTTP at the beginning of your URL. There's more information available about that. I'm not going to go on about it again and again. Second point is speed. Load speed is also a ranking factor. It's really important. Google has been telling us this for a while now, and they've done some really interesting research. And what Google did over a period, it's quite a long period, more than a month, between 1 to 2 months, is they slowed down search returns. And so they made their search returns, they slowed them down by less than half a second, okay? Between 100 to 400 milliseconds, they just slowed down the return of results, search results, and looked at the impact on the number of search results that were conducted. Really interesting result. Even though they slowed down the speed with which search results were returned by less than half a second, it resulted in 0.5% fewer searches being done. That's a mean figure in the middle, somewhere between 0.2 to 0.6. So for less than 500 milliseconds reduction in speed, 0.5 fewer searches being done. Remarkable. And actually fits very closely. I remember when I joined IBM years ago in the 1980s, there was some research done in how you could improve the productivity of programmers. And the point there was to produce sub-second response time for programmers. And there was a very interesting paper written in how the productivity of programmers went really through the roof if you gave them sub-second response time. And so this result doesn't surprise me at all, but I would just keep emphasizing to you, speed is really, really important. So please make sure that your website loads very quickly. Okay, third point. And this is a point that Google brought to the fore a while back. EAT. What does this stand for? It's nothing to do with food. It stands for expertise, authority, and trust. And Google is now looking at websites saying, okay, let's look at this website from the point of view of expertise, authority, and trust. How can we rely upon the information that is contained in this website? What authority does this website have? What expertise is the owner of this website demonstrating? Please recognize that Google is making decisions about your website based on what they perceive in terms of expertise, authority, and trust. And this is really, really important for the CATS community. For consultants, authors, trainers, and speakers out there, we are those people who want to demonstrate our expertise, our authority, and we want to be trusted. So this concept of EAT produced by Google is really important. Google has published some really interesting papers out there. I would urge you to go and read those papers. They're very easy to find. A quick Google search will take you straight to them, and Google's being very helpful and very open with us about how they're going to be looking at our websites and ranking them from the perspective of expertise, authority, and trust. Another issue that might perhaps be a subtle point in terms of ranking your website interestingly, is design. That's interesting, Chris. Surely design isn't a ranking issue. Well, no, it isn't really. That's perfectly correct. However, if you've got a lot of traffic that arrives at your homepage and then bounces straight out, Google's going to look at that and go, we're beginning to form the opinion that this isn't a particularly useful website, because people are arriving at it and then bouncing straight away. So they're not finding anything there that is keeping them engaged. They just arrive and disappear, arrive and disappear. So a high bounce rate isn't something that is particularly good for you, and that might be because you have a particularly weak design that isn't delivering quickly to visitors the information that they need to know. Now, of course, this is all a little bit of a debating point, really, because people could be coming to your website just to get your telephone number, and as soon as they find your telephone number in the top right-hand corner, they bounce out again. So you can't be too strong on this point, but nonetheless, just have a look at your bounce rates, have a look at your design, do a little bit of work, and just convince yourself that actually your bounce rate is reasonable for the market you have and for the design of website that you have. Content. In the episode about blogs, I talk about content some more. Content is really, really important, especially with this in mind: expertise, authority, and trust. Content becomes more important. Regular, fresh content becomes more important. This concept of regular, fresh content, blogging weekly if you can, weekly is the gold standard, that helps lift the expertise, authority of our websites. So really, that's important. And it's particularly important when combined with focus. Do we know deeply the community that we serve? Does your content serve this community well? This helps with all of these three areas here. So 6 areas we can look at. 7th, this is a really interesting one. And it's one that is often forgotten, often ignored. Internal links within your website, from blog post to blog post, from product page to blog post, and the like. Really important, from customer testimonials to product pages. Internal links you can completely control, and Google will give you more a better ranking position for internal links. So that's something that people just forget. Yeah, just forget. And it's understandable, but you can get a lot more out of internal links. Page layout. Also really important. I'm going to put up number 9 as well at the same time, because these two to a certain extent come together, and that's mobile. Page layout and mobile, really important. Please optimize for mobile. Not only is Google's Mobile First Index project becoming more important, and it's going to be out there by September this year. The point here is that over 3/4 of the searches conducted on mobile are conducted in an environment where a desktop machine is available. Incredible. So mobile searches are really important, and layout of your information, particularly on mobile, really important too. Another good way of checking out where you are in search engine ranking positions is just go and look at your competitors. Have a look at everybody who is above you. in the ranking positions and see what it is that they're doing. See if you can find out why they rank better than you do. So these are little known areas where we can do a bit more research to improve the ranking of our websites. This is particularly important: expertise, authority, trust. HTTPS, really important, and affects about half of the websites out there from the research that I can tell. Speed, load speed is going to become more and more important. Internal links is something that people often forget about. Mobile is really important, particularly with mobile, first index project rolling out. Keep an eye on your competitors. Blog regularly, weekly if you can, with a clear focus on the community that you serve. That's basically it. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so that you can be kept informed of the next video that comes up. And the next video is going to be all about email and the different sorts of outbound email. Should you have different lists? Should you use tags? That's for next week. Until then, have a good time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.